All right, let's take a quick look-see. I'll do a recap for Sydney right after this. Let's see. Let's go to our day. I didn't even look at the market today before 9 o'clock. I was out for a nice walk. Actually, let's go straight to 9:30. I wasn't looking at anything pre-market. I started looking at it around 9 o'clock. I said my interest was, I think I said drop and pop. I said it's Monday. Coin toss to reject the gap because of Monday. But because I said we were so close to all-time highs, we had gone up about 1,000 points overnight. I said I'd like to see that go up and see that. If not, at least bounce around here, but likely go up to see that. I said if it does come down, I'd like to see it come down to euro, maybe here. We were already here and we didn't do that. So around here I said, all right. I saw this fair value gap. I did say I wanted to come down. I said maybe around here. Nope, it was, I think I said around 610. My fibs were looking really nice. I said, yeah, actually I did say around here. Maybe reject the 0.5 or the 786. I'd like to see it come down here and then go up. Didn't have any PD arrays in between here and here. Well, let me try that again. I didn't have any PD arrays between this, on the 1 minute, between this breakaway gap and here. So realistically, down and up to there would have been a nice move. Not much, but a nice move. I didn't know what was really going to happen here, so that was my reasoning. So we got an immediate gap rejection. I wanted to play it safe. 7, yeah. It wicked past this breakaway gap. Shot up. I wasn't in here yet. Created another bullish breakaway gap on top of that. Honestly, I should have been in this because we had no interest in putting a body. I got in, I think, either on this candle or the next one. Should have gotten in sooner. I was starting to look at how close we were. I should have gotten in on the first candle. Today is the day you should have gotten in on the first candle, especially considering how much we displaced away. I was concerned, but because I wasn't seeing this, I didn't see this because we didn't have any, we didn't have anything here to stop us realistically. That's why I should have been in this trade. And I could have had my stop somewhere reasonable. How long is this wick really? 631 to 606. That would have been a pretty big loss, but one I should have been happy to take, considering my risk to reward. Was greater than 1 to 2, and this was my potential stopping area, and I would trail it using the fib. So came down to the 236, shows us we're still quite bullish for a rejection. Boom, you create your first percent fair value gap. I think I ended up getting in somewhere around here. Somewhere around here is where I got my fill, which was way too late. Should have been in from all the way down here, but I was concerned. And this wick happened almost instantaneously. It was almost, it would have had to, it would need to have been, it would have needed to be, let me try that again. It would it should have been something I placed a limit order on, but my calculations are kind of off. Maybe consequent encroachment, but I have no idea where I put the stop, so that's a different issue. I don't even know if it would get filled. Yeah, because if I put the stop there, I guess I would have to put my. If I got in, see, the problem is I wasn't sure that this breakaway gap was enough to hold compared to maybe coming down here to grab some more liquidity, which is what I was originally thinking. But yeah, actually just rewinding that a little bit. Okay, so if we just to show, for the purpose of showing, we remember that this was here around 6:05, and we were actually here. So according to the fibs that we have, 6:05 represented a almost 786 rejection on the intermediate term fib. So boom and up. That's exactly what you want to see. So realistically, you could probably even get in, put in a buy order here, if you're really feeling about it, because that's rather beautiful. Although I wouldn't have been opposed to seeing it come down to the 0.5, like I was saying, because this is a long-term fib. So that missed that was interesting. I wouldn't be mad at seeing it come down there. Having said that, 0.5 is still in this area, so 590. Okay. So as that goes, I missed the trade. If you take it from the gap rejection, let's say you get in a little late, 638, you're already up 54 points, yeah. And this is where I put my stop in profit at this point, and I got taken out by this candle. I realistically should have gotten in for the breakaway gap. Didn't print inside, clear rejection, taken off. I'm glad I didn't, also because it did. This would have been a nice scalp from here to there, because I didn't think that it would have taken that. That would have been a really decent trade. Here, 660, boom, 715. That's your 55 points. Maybe even done for the day, depending on how you play. 1 NQ. It did reject. You could take that back down. Watch that. Boom, boom, right here. Hold on. I was concerned that it might start falling back down, honestly, because I wasn't all that bullish on the day. But the clear rejection with the bodies not closing below the first presented fair value gap at this point couldn't print past the consequent encroachment. Small volume imbalance, but you couldn't even print past that. Even if you did you? Maybe you made a little mohawk, but that's not telling you. I mean, come on, the bodies are so close. You're absolutely looking bullish. Boom. Honestly, this would have been even a decent trade, but I don't like getting in so close to the breakaway gap, especially because I would have trailed this and I would have been stopped. Because, I mean, you almost make a devil's mark there, but you got the tiniest hair of a wick, so it's not. So, boom. Come down, tested 236 rejection, 0.5 of 236 on the intermediate and the long term, and a 0.5 rejection. I'd like to see something turn green if I'm going to get in. Not yet. Boom. In. I might have gotten in this early and put a stop here and then try to suffer through that. If I'm not already in, obviously. This would have been the perfect entry if you didn't get in on the gap rejection. Said Monday, it was an opportunity. Honestly, if you got in down here and you put your stop, honestly, you shouldn't put your stop. put yourself barely in profit. So let's say since we're already up 100 points if you got in with the prime entry, even if with a secondary entry like this one, you're up almost 100 points already, and you eclipse that breakaway gap with sights on all-time highs. Didn't take the all-time highs, and now you have a macro period, so you're looking to see, is there a reversal coming? All right, start rounding. Yeah, I'm looking to get out. I would be trailing this. I would be out by here. This would take me out 763. Not bad. Not bad for what, 100, almost 120 points. Let's see. And where is this candle coming back to? 236. I think that continues, obviously. Oh, yep. Okay, let's see what do we have here. 0.5, looking like you could 0.5 on the intermediate. I'm looking for something green to see if that's going to turn around. It does not. Instead, you get down to the 0.786 on the intermediate. Question is, do you reject that or do you come down here? I think it did end up coming down here. No, it didn't. Not yet, actually. Boom. Tried to come up. Honestly, this might have taken me out because I would have seen this OTE. OTE did not have a fair value gap. The fair value gap was above the OTE. This would have concerned me. I might have even taken this and gotten myself into trouble. Because it turns around immediately. And yeah, I have to fix this on my indicator, but whatever. This way comes down to somewhere around here. No, actually, it does come down to here. Yeah, if you look at it like that, this way comes down to here. Oh no, I see. It came down to this, and it rejected this first presented fair value gap, and then honestly, this. Actually, now I'm curious. There was a low of this week, 707. 707. So the low, so it didn't even come down to there. Okay. Okay, there we go. Boom. And this is your rejection of the first presented. Can't even wick down to it. Coming back up. I might have gotten into this. Might have. Not sure, honestly. Because I was thinking this is starting to come down now. I'd have to see. It's close to the 0.5 though, which makes it a really strong area. Where is this from? From the long-term low, I think this is still the, where is this? One is here on Euro. Yeah, so it's from the long-term low, which is actually pretty good. Yeah, boom, 0.5. I might take that actually on a long-term turnaround. Have my stop and structure. Oh, there we go. Boom, that's what you want to see. Boom. All right, so you wait for it, and it comes. Let's see what happens if you actually put a fib on this to see what you're testing. My fib is too juicy. Let's put a box with the CE. All right, so once you see you're rejecting the 0.5, which does indicate that's probably going to go up. But I want to see like this rejection up, but it might be, but then you're the OTE for this area, so it might be a little bit too early. I wanted to see something maybe come down a little bit lower. and reject something properly. Okay, so this comes rejects pretty mightily. Look at that long wick. So what if I said, we put that here now, and let's see what happens. Because honestly, the distance, the displacement between this candle and this candle, from those candles low to this candle in general, is much greater than, look at how this wicks down here. This is far more bullish than this. With energy, even almost comparative to this, it's a little comparatively lethargic. So, taking that, okay, but then that comes down a little bit, but still not quite the same way. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Actually, let's get rid of this box. Honestly, this would have been a decent entry too. Let's go back and see that again, because I didn't see it with the fib. And this is 10:25. Keep that in mind. We're already outside of our macro time. 0.5, yeah, so there was an entry there. Oh, the fib got frozen a little bit there. There we go. Much better. Alright, so this, where does this put us? It's a rejection of the 0.5, but a print past it, which is concerning. I want to see this come down to this area again. I would. That's what I would be looking for if I'm not already in it. Except, yeah, this is. So then I would move this here. Yeah, this would definitely. I mean, this is rejecting the 50%, not a print past it of this wick, which indicates bullish behavior. Right on top of this, so the OTE. But you create a new OTE down here. I do need an extra large fib now, something to monitor this, because now, because of the chop, my long term has switched. I could put on a counter trend for the long term. What does that look like? If I put on a counter trend, that's the wrong one. Let's try that again. Counter trend for the long term. First of all, let's put the right indicator. So a counter trend fib for the long term. I have no idea. Alright, we'll have to mess with that another time. Okay. Oh, because it would still be for the same area, maybe. Let me try that again one more time, actually. Put this here. Put this here. I don't know. We'll look at that another time. Alright, anyway. So this looks to me like this would be going down based on this trend. So that's the scary part. And it does. Huh. But I have nothing to go by. See, and that goes up. So that's why you'd have to already be in this trade and see that this is still going up. I don't know how. I mean, this wouldn't tell me anything. This would tell me absolutely nothing. You don't trade if you don't have anything. But you do have a higher... So by the time you get here, you have higher lows. Also, especially since you're close to the long-term high, but you have... I don't know. Either way, if you got in this trade properly from either here, probably not here, unless you could have read the fib properly from here, I think, for the long. I'll have to look at that. Readjust the fib to match maybe a higher time frame. Hold on. Let me try that again. Because, alright, so we did create this. This was a decent trade, actually. We have the rejection of the breakaway gap. And rejection of the .5 on the short term. That's a continuation. I think the long term might be going in the wrong direction at this point. Oh, because it hadn't yet reached 90%. 90% might be too high. I'm not sure how to think about that for the flip. Oh, wait a minute. It didn't flip. That's the problem. There we go. Okay, so I wouldn't need to flip because it's moving in that direction, I see. Okay, so here, another entry opportunity. I didn't want to take this because it's starting to slowly grind. This was a good move. This was actually decent. Create all-time high, retracement, boom, 50% on the short term. Yeah, not bad. During a macro, oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely opportunities to get back into this. Oh yeah. 786, boom. Macro is technically done, but there were opportunities. Alright, so realistically you could have gotten in this trade again from here, 780, 50, almost 60 points. Yeah. And then you're getting close to 12 to noon, you should be done. 11:30 lunch. Yeah. I think it did start falling at this point though. Maybe you sniffed all-time highs one more time actually, but I think, yeah, this is still quite bullish, yeah. But then I think it started to turn around at some point. Yeah, somewhere around here. Yeah, it didn't quite get to 31,000. Stopped at 3,900. I didn't want to get chopped up in this price action though. In retrospect, you could see how it's still bullish, but I didn't see that. It was just too slow. Not enough displacement until around this area for me to say it has an interest in doing something. And somewhere around here would have been decent for the short. There you go. Then you get into the end of lunch, and that was the day.